Hello everyone, welcome to Sheep Tech, and we're going to talk about a new gaming PC build for $800. Because apparently some people wanted to see an $800 PC build again, so well, I am back from the dead, as you can see, and well, I haven't posted in about 2 months. That's because I didn't really feel like it, but since that one video got 100 views, I see some people want some assistance maybe with their first PC build, or maybe even their second, or maybe the third, doesn't really matter. All they want is just that fresh PC build and they want some assistance with that. So well, I am here to help you with that. So let's get started and right into it. We're going to start at, well, immediately with the most important part, which is the CPU. The CPU in this build, it's gonna be a sweet one. It's going to be a sweet one. It's going to have 6 cores. In the last build, I think I had an i5 something. None about that shit here. We got an AMD Ryzen 5 3600 3.6 GHz 6-core processor, getting a solid 5 stars on PCPartPicker. Pick it up for $167 on Amazon. It's an absolute beauty. Don't get any words twisted here. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful processor. It's the boxed variant, so well, that's good, I guess. You get your little cooler in there, so at least we don't have to spend on that. Hyperthreading 12 times, so you get 12. Well, you get 6 fake cores and 6 real cores, so that's 12 threads in total. It's just a beautiful processor and it's future proof. Why I didn't go with the X variant is because you get a few gigahertz extra, but I think the 3600 for the $800 build is enough. Okay, it's enough. So let's go straight to the motherboard. The motherboard is the MSI B450 Tomahawk Max ATX AM4 motherboard. It's just a good motherboard. I can't really say much more about it. It's $115, and it's just a good MSI motherboard. It's the Tomahawk series, so it's made to be durable. And yeah, not much more to say about it than it's just a good motherboard, man. It's a good motherboard. Then we go to the RAM. The RAM is really basic Corsair Vengeance LPX 16 gigs, 2 times 8 gigs, so it's a dual channel 3200 megahertz DDR4. It's really basic RAM, not much special about it. It's just RAM, you know. It's nothing exciting or anything. It's just 16 gigs of RAM. These days you need 16 gigs. 8 gigs isn't going to cut it anymore. Maybe like 5 years ago 8 gigs was the norm. These days absolutely not. 8 gigs is behind. You gotta have 16 gigs these days. You can play with 8 gigs, don't get me wrong. Most games are still playable with 8 gigs, but in about 5 years 8 gigs are going to be outdated and you're not going to be able to play most games, at least on beautiful graphics, with those 8 gigs. Also, of course, you have some background programs to run, maybe like Discord to call with some friends, or maybe you have some Spotify running, etc. And you don't want to be lagging in those programs because of your RAM, because that's really silly. You can always upgrade your RAM if you want, but I think 16 gigs is really the way to go here, and it's just $64. It's really cheap. I've seen it more expensive, don't get me wrong. I've seen some RAM sticks. These things could go for $90, but here they are for $64. I remember maybe 2 years ago, I don't know, but these things were easily $90, if not even more. If I'm wrong, correct me, but that's how I remember it. So at $16, you really have to go for it. $16 is really the norm these days. Don't go for 8 gigs anymore. Now we go to the storage. Storage is probably not really well, yeah, it's pretty important. Actually, all parts in the PC are important, except probably the case, because well, you could do fine without a case. I have a buddy who doesn't have a case, so you could game without a case. Wouldn't recommend it, but it's possible. All of the other parts pretty darn important. For the storage, we have a Seagate Barracuda Compute 2 terabytes 3.5 inch 7200 RPM. 7200 RPM, just very quick. It's a pretty quick HDD. It's 2 terabytes, so it's enough for your games. You don't want, 1 terabyte is enough. But if you really want to play those big titles, I wouldn't even say 1 terabyte isn't enough anymore. 2 terabytes is what you gotta have, okay? Because if you want to play some games on here, you are not gonna buy those CD-ROM discs, are you? You're just gonna buy it via Steam or any other online or digital platform. So you need those 2 terabytes, man. Games are becoming like 100 gigs, 200 gigs. I've even seen for like 250, no, not 250 gigs, that's quite an exaggeration, but like easily 200 or 100 gigs. AAA titles are pretty much going for that amount. So 2 terabytes is what you need. You don't want to have too few storage, but of course you can always upgrade your storage. But I just think that those 2 terabytes are important, so you don't have to add storage in the first maybe 2 years, or depending on how many games you install. So of course, well, we have an $800 build, and we're not going to have an $800 build without an SSD. Come on, SSD is also the norm these days. Wow, I love this word today. We have a Kingston A400 240 gigs 2.5 inch SSD. Just a good SSD. You can put your Windows on here and boom, it boots up in a matter of seconds. And just Kingston is a trustworthy company. It's a good company. It's 40 USD, so it's cheap as well. And well, you can maybe even put a game on here that you want to boot up real quick. Maybe like I don't know, Modern Warfare or something. That could fit on here. So if you want that, then well, you could do that. Then we go to the case. The case is going to be the NZXT H510 ATX mid-tower case. Just a really basic case, but it's big, it's easy, especially for your first time build. This is a good case to get. However, usually I think with cases, it's more like personal preference. Okay, so if you want a different case than this one, that's perfectly possible, as long as it is around $70 and it is an ATX mid-tower case, and you just check the dimensions a little bit, then you should be fine. Okay, if you want to know for sure, please comment down below, and I'll be glad to help you out. But well, it's just a good case, and it's a beautiful case in my opinion. It's just really sleek. But yeah, as I already said, it's personal preference. If you don't like this case, well, then you can pick another one, as long as it's an ATX mid-tower case and it's around $70. Then we go to the power supply unit, PSU, or as it's simply called, power supply. EVGA 500 watts, 80 plus certified. I think it's 80 plus bronze. I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure it's 80 plus bronze, because it's $50. It's cheap. But you don't want to be too cheap on your power supply. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to get some Chinese brand or something. You really want to get a good brand, and EVGA is quite a good brand. I would recommend this power supply. Now, it's 500 watts. It's enough for your build. Your build uses in total maybe around 304 watts. That's estimated. So 500 watts should be enough. You can even add maybe even like some RAM sticks to it later. You can even switch out the GPU and all that stuff. Now, after the GPU, because this is the creme de la creme, everybody wants to know what for GPU did you put in here. That's everybody just wants to know. It's a Gigabyte GeForce GTX 1660 Super 6GB OC video card. It's $240. Excuse me. And it's just a good looking card in my opinion, but most importantly, it's a good working card. It performs well, and it is definitely one that is just a gorgeous looking card. It has 6 GB of memory, DDR6. Core clock is about 1530 megahertz, and boost clock is about 1830 megahertz. But yeah, Gigabyte GeForce GTX 1660 Super 6 GB. It's a good video card. It performs well, and you'll be able to play most games on high and 1080p, probably max settings, like ultra type of stuff. Because this thing it's a good video card. It's a good video card. So yeah, what can you use this PC for? Well, you can use it for gaming, video editing, rendering or anything, like all that stuff. It can do that. Okay, it can do that. So this was the video for this once in 2 months. I'll be posting probably in upcoming days again. So stay tuned for that. Maybe like a what for type of build shall I do then? What kind of price range are you guys thinking of? Or are you thinking, or do you have any questions? Let me know down below so I can respond to those. Well, this was the video for everyone. Hope you liked it, and have a nice day.